Welcome back to Fueling Conversation. I'm joined again today by Jason Fortner, the Director of Sales and Marketing here at Flogistix. And today we're going to be talking about the evolution of vapor recovery and really its role in the modern facility design. So let's talk about compression, right? Are all vapor recovery units or systems using the same type of compression?
That's a great question. No, there's actually a variety of different types of compressors. Many have different strengths and weaknesses depending on the type of application they're operating in. Flogistix primarily uses rotary screw compressors, which are fantastic for applications like vapor recovery because it's very dynamic. As oil is produced and is stabilized, you get large flashes in vapors. And so the system has to be very responsive to capture these vapors before overpressuring a tank, venting to atmosphere, or being diverted to the flare. So rotary screw, compared against a reciprocating compressor, they're great at being super responsive and being able to handle a wide variety of operating pressures.
Do you see in the DJ versus other areas one trending more popular than the other?
It varies. So with the DJ basin, a lot of the layout and, application of VRUs is really based on the greater facility design. And that even extends out to the gathering system, the midstream infrastructure that's in place. Because a lot of that dictates what the volumes of flash gas that are going to occur, where they're going to occur at, and what type of compressors needed for that application.
At what point in the facility design lifecycle do you often see people bringing us in to partner with them on their vapor recovery? Is that before the facility is designed? Is that something they can do once the facility is already stable?
Yeah, it's iterative. So, yes, we're very much on the front end, but before a well has ever been drilled, we will, look at facility designs and kind of walk through the different needs at various stages, depending on whether or not they have heater treaters or separators. If they have a LACT system, that is actually going to be their oil takeaway. In the DJ Basin, kind of this latest evolution of facility design are fully tankless facilities. So there are no low pressure storage tanks. So yeah, depending on what design they're putting together is really going to dictate what type of VRUs, how large or how small they'll be, and where they're going to be placed at the facility.
With that considered, what type of challenges do we often see when working with the customer on getting a VRU on location, and how do we often overcome that? How do we recommend to the customer, steps to find the right solution?
It's challenging because depending on, the pressure of the gathering system and, what stages we're going to collect the flash, how many wells there are is going to determine how much overall flash volumes there will be. And you also have to factor in if they're going to drill a pad and complete it and that's it, or if there's going to be future infill drilling, because production declines are very steep. And that will kind of determine whether or not a client wants to set a number of smaller units that can be stripped out at varying economic and volume thresholds, or if they're going to, consolidate and have one large VRU at each stage to capture all the vapors. There's also the challenge of redundancy, and if you have one large unit that goes down, you've lost all of your ability to capture those flash vapors.
I know that Flogistix partners with our customers to make sure that they're supported for as long as possible. How can we best serve people in the life of the well, from the time that we bring the facility online with the customer to maybe later in the production life cycle when we don't need as much compression?
The value proposition is that, the majority of these applications are profitable, and we're able to keep within those economic thresholds by offering a variety of models. So our largest being the FX20 can handle well over 1 million in low pressure flash. And as production declines, we have at least 5 different models that we can step down to until we get to, very small volumes, years out. And so it's that cradle to grave approach that allows us to have their needs covered throughout the life cycle of the facility. Ultimately, if you start with a number of VRUs and get down to a single unit, we then switch into a different operating mode, which is called multi-stream, where we're actually able to capture vapors at varying pressure sources with a single VRU, providing kind of the bottom line of economic viability for a vapor recovery unit.
I know from other episodes, we've briefly talked about some of the technology, and we're looking forward to having a few episodes in the future specific to our solutions and tools. But when you talk about this cradle to grave life cycle or the capacity, of a unit, what tools or at what point are you able to analyze it's time to look at downsizing? How are you going through this exercise?
It used to be very challenging. We, don't have access to all the same information that our clients do. And on the front end, this data is modeled. So, wells have not been drilled. So nobody knows exactly how much oil will be produced, how much flash vapors will be needed to capture. And over time, as the wells are producing and we have a good understanding of the volumes, it becomes easier to look and see at what point we can downsize. The introduction of Flux, where we can analyze the data from our VRU and really ascertain the overall capacity utilization and how much room we have in a compressor, makes it much simpler. With the latest iteration of Flux, we can overlay a VRU's maximum output at the same conditions as they're currently doing and really compare that and see if there is an opportunity to drop to a smaller size.
Yeah, I know that Flux has a lot of solutions for our customers and us operationally to better support when it comes to things like downsizing or really a number of issues or challenges that a customer might see. And I think we're going to talk about that in a future episode, so I don't want to spoil any of that. Jason, thank you for joining us today, and I can't wait to talk about the economics and challenges of vapor recovery.